powered by Riverside FM.
Welcome to another edition of Unconventional Playbook. Just take a second and hit that like and subscribe button. That would be fantastic to help the channel continue to grow. Minnesota Viking fans, I'm just getting the feeling that the Minnesota Vikings are trying to mess this thing up, man. Like, we're in a great space. We're in a good spot. The Minnesota Vikings just have to do the right thing. And let me tell you what I'm talking about. There is no godforsaken reason why KOC and Kwesi Adolfo Mensa should not have a contract extension by now. And I know the comeback is people keep saying, oh, well, they're going to get the contract extension done. They're going to get the contract extension done. Why the wait? Why the wait? Don't you have to get it done now? Like, if you're going to get it done in the future, what is the hang up right now? Let's take KOC, for instance. KOC first year had 13 wins. Second year, 7 wins. This year, 14 wins, went 14-4. If you want to argue he hasn't won a playoff game, I'll hear that. That is not a reason right now at this point in his career for you to not get him a contract extension. Because what it does, it allows a lot of different things to come into play. You've heard all of the rumors out there about KOC. Even during the end of the year, going into the playoffs, you heard trade talk for KOC. What can we get for KOC? And I know the rumor was thrown about, and you really can't stop rumors, but because KOC is not signed, it opens the door for a lot of different elements to start to permeate and to start to come in. Then you hear about tension between KOC and the Wilfs because KOC didn't get a contract extension last year, that there is some tension in the room, that KOC wants more control in terms of draft picks and personnel moves. Like, I'm sure he has some say right now, but he doesn't have total control. And the rumor has it that KOC wants to have more control. If he wants to cook, he wants to go shopping for the groceries. I think the Wolves are making a big mistake. Because you could argue if the Wolves would have got KOC locked up at the end of last year, price tag probably would have been a little cheaper than what it is now. KOC has proven that he can help this team win. Now, regardless of what issues you may have with KOC and his play calling, KOC has done a fantastic job right now. And it doesn't make sense to me why the Wilfs are trying so hard to mess this thing up. Give KOC his contract extension today. Shuts down all the rumors, shuts down all the speculation, shuts down all the sports talk. Stuff doesn't filter into your locker room. It doesn't impact your free agency. Lock up KOC now. I would even say lock up Kwesi Adolfo Mensa. Although I will hear the argument that Kwesi has not done a very good job in terms of draft picks. We have depleted draft capital. So those are definitely some issues, but Kwesi has gotten the books together, which has helped us with roughly mid-70 millions in terms of flexibility with the salary cap. It helped by getting rid of that Danielle Hunter contract, that Kirk Cousins contract. Kwesi Adolfo Mensa deserves some credit for making those hard decisions, correcting the books, so to speak. But he also deserves criticism for his draft picks. I mean, his drafts have been absolutely terrible. So if there is any hesitation out there about Kwesi Adolfo Mensa, like, I can understand it. But I don't think it's enough to not get him an extension, especially with the free agency class that he brought in. Arguably, man, the best free agency class in the history of the NFL is what Kwesi Adolfo Mensa did this past summer. Why aren't these guys locked up now? Why aren't the If you have any ideas, UP Nation, put it in the comments. Because as this thing starts to drag out, it only opens the door for harsh and hard feelings. What do you think's going on, UP Nation? Put it in the comments. Do you think KOC and Kwesi deserve an extension, or do you think not? I would like to hear the side from people that feel like KOC and Kwesi Adolfo Mensa should not be extended. I know after the Lions game and after the Rams game, people were talking about fire KOC. I am nowhere near there. KOC is going to be our coach for a long time. KOC is a culture builder. And keep in mind, here's what people don't realize. And this is just the reality of it. KOC is just cutting his teeth as a head coach, man. This is a learning process. It's hard to be a head coach. It's a lot of management. It's a lot of people management, staff management, talent management. I'm a head coach myself at the college level, albeit nowhere near what KOC has to do in the NFL. I'm just telling you, that seat is a seat that takes a talented person. That's why a lot of these offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators, when they get their opportunity to be a head coach, they can't do it because it takes a little bit of talent. So KOC is doing a fantastic job, but he's still learning the position. I would almost say, really, in terms of play calling as well. When he was with McVay and the Rams, he was the installation guy. He was the guy that installed a lot of the offensive plays and the concepts. But he wasn't a play caller. McVay was the play caller. So you can argue in the last 3 years with the Minnesota Vikings, KOC is learning how to play call himself. Now, some people are saying that it would help the Minnesota Vikings if KOC didn't call plays and he got an offensive coordinator to call plays. I don't see that happening anytime soon. I think KOC likes that control, and I think he likes to manage the game from that seat until it becomes detrimental to the team, and I don't think KOC is looking at it as a detriment, especially when he does not or has not had the quarterback that he has wanted. That will be fixed next year with JJ McCarthy. But the Minnesota Vikings have to continue down the path of common sense. You've got to sign KOC. You've got to sign Kwesi Adolfo Mensa. And you got to make a splash in the offseason. And what I mean by a splash is you got to fix that interior offensive line. You got to fix that interior defensive line. You got to fix the D-backs. Stephon Gilmore's got to go. You got to get younger, faster, more agile, run support type D-backs. You're going to have to find a way to replace Harrison Smith and not overpay for people. You are in a great position, Minnesota Viking fans. You just have to do things the right way. You shouldn't even think about re-signing Sam Darnold unless you get the inkling that the market is going to be a little bit higher for him. But right now, I think the franchise tag is out. I mean, you got to be at that $40, $41 million threshold. And if teams can sign him for less than that, then it would do the Vikings no good to franchise tag him. But if Kwesi and the boys get the feeling that his market is going to be a little bit higher than what people think, because people's got the last two games, that bad taste in their mouth from Sam Darnold, so they're speculating that he might not be able to get that $40 million price tag. If they find some information or analytics that tells them that Sam Darnold's going to get more than $40 million in the Minnesota Vikings, have to franchise tag him. But I will say this, they better have a deal worked out first so they're not stuck with that $40 million price tag for Sam Darnold. That's paramount. That's paramount. If they give extensions to KOC Kwesi, Let Sam Darnold move on. Implement JJ McCarthy. Be buyers on the free agent market, specifically improving that offensive line, maybe drafting a good running back. I think this team can come back and be as equal as it was this year or better. And I'm not talking about record-wise, man. There are a lot of variables when it comes to winning and losing games, but I'm talking about just being a player in the conversation for playoffs and having an opportunity to make a run with JJ McCarthy. You see what Jaden Daniels did as a rookie, man. All this talk about not throwing rookies into the deep water, I never bought that. If guys can perform, guys can perform, and I think JJ McCarthy is going to be one of those guys. The Minnesota Vikings just can't mess this thing up. So I ask, you've got the coach that you want. You've got the GM that has done a great job in the free agency market. Maybe not the draft area, but the free agent market. Why? Why aren't these guys signed? It only hurts the Minnesota Vikings the longer you play around with this, Wilf's family. The longer you play around with it. Get these guys locked up so we can move on and start building this purple dynasty. Don't mess this up, man. Don't mess this up. Please hit that like and subscribe button. Take the time. If you're watching this video and you like the content, please hit that like button. This has been Unconventional Playbook. We will make sure to see ya when we see ya. Latre, take us home.